Ever think about that internet outage a while back? You know, the one that took down like half the internet?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that right as you're about to close a huge deal
Right.
or launch a make or break product.
Yeah.
Businesses can't really afford to be offline these days, even for a minute,
No, not even for a second.
which is where this whole business continuity thing comes in.
Yeah.
So we're doing a deep dive today with insights from Haptic.
Okay.
They're a firm that's all about helping businesses navigate this whole world.
Yeah. And what's really interesting about Haptic is that they get how tech and strategy are like totally tied together now.
Uh-huh.
It's not just an IT problem anymore, this business continuity thing.
Right.
It's got to be like a core part of how you do business
Yeah.
if you want to survive or even like, grow.
Totally. And they have this term agile infrastructure.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of techie at first,
Yeah, it does.
but it's actually, when they explain it, it's kind of brilliant.
Yeah. How do they explain it?
They were comparing like a business to a tree
Okay.
in a windstorm, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like if the tree's all rigid, it's going to snap.
Right.
But if it can bend with the wind, that's agile.
Yeah.
And it makes it through the storm.
It survives.
So how does that like actually translate to the business world?
It's about building systems and processes, really, that can change when things change.
Okay.
Take dynamic scalability. Let's say your site hits the front page of, I don't know, Reddit.
Okay.
Suddenly, you've got tons of traffic.
Huge traffic spike.
An agile infrastructure, we're probably using cloud stuff, can automatically scale up to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
No crashing.
Wow.
And then, just as important, scales back down when things are normal again.
Mm-hmm.
Saves you money.
It's like magic. The building grows when you need more space and shrinks back down when you don't.
Exactly.
No waste. I love it. But this agility thing, it's not just about good surprises, right? Like a sudden rush of customers. It's got to be about those unexpected hits, too.
Yeah.
Cyber attacks, natural disasters, things like that.
Absolutely. Haptic stresses that in today's world, problems can pop up anytime, anywhere.
Okay.
Agile infrastructure lets businesses react fast and effectively.
Yeah.
You want to minimize that downtime and keep things running.
So agile infrastructure is about having that solid foundation that lets your business roll with the punches and even do well when things get tough.
Right.
But what about all the people working remotely these days? How do we make sure they can stay online and productive if something happens
Right.
and that they're doing it all, securely?
Yeah, that's where remote work resilience comes into play. And it's another area where Haptic offers some seriously useful insights.
Okay.
The pandemic really sped up that move to working from home, right?
Did.
Companies had to adapt super fast.
Sure.
But just handing out laptops and hoping for the best, not enough.
Not even close.
Businesses need strong systems
Okay.
to keep connections secure, that data protected, and their people supported no matter where they are.
Because, yeah, working in your PJs might sound fun, but if the internet crashes, or worse, you get hacked.
Exactly.
Nightmare for you and the whole company.
Exactly. Haptic is really big on secure connectivity, things like VPNs, encrypting your internet traffic.
So it's like a secret tunnel for your data, keeping it safe from the bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just one piece. Haptic also talks a lot about endpoint security.
Yeah.
That's about making sure every single device that connects to your work network is protected.
Okay, so every laptop, phone, what about like that smart coffee maker someone brought in?
Yep. Anything that touches your network is a potential way in for hackers. That's why Haptic says you've got to have strong endpoint security, strong passwords, that multi-factor authentication everyone loves. Keep all software updated. And it's not just about tech either.
Right, because even with the best tech, someone could click the wrong link and bring the whole thing down.
Exactly.
Like leaving your front door wide open no matter how many locks you have on the back.
Exactly. And that brings up a key point for Haptic. Business continuity isn't just about the tech, it's about people and how they work too.
So having the right tech is crucial, but everyone needs to know their part in keeping things running smoothly
Yes.
and what to do if things go sideways.
Exactly. And that's why Haptic talks about collaboration across all departments, not just IT,
Yeah.
HR, finance, operations, everyone.
Like a soccer team, you need a good defense, midfielders who can control the game, and people who can score goals, but everyone needs to be on the same page, talking to each other, working towards the same goal.
Precisely. And that's what we'll get into in the next part of our deep dive into Haptic's insights. the importance of working together, communicating clearly, and building a culture where everyone can bounce back from anything.
Okay, so we've talked about agility and security being super important these days.
Right.
But Haptic doesn't stop there. They say collaboration is key for a truly resilient organization.
Yeah, they argue that business continuity, it's not just on IT, it's everybody's job. And they don't just mean like having a plan written down somewhere. They mean creating a culture where everyone gets it.
Right, because what good is a plan if it's just gathering dust?
Exactly.
It's about knowing what to do, who to call, how to roll with the punches.
Exactly. They have this analogy I love. Imagine you're launching a big product.
Okay, big product launch.
Marketing is going full steam ahead.
Yeah.
Sales is ready for the calls to come pouring in.
Uh-huh.
And operations is set to get everything shipped out without a hitch.
Smooth sailing.
And then, bam, server outage. Your website crashes
Yeah.
right when everyone's trying to buy.
Oh, man, that's like the worst case scenario.
Right. Total momentum killer.
Totally.
Now, if you're a resilient organization, IT jumps into action, of course. But here's where that collaborative culture makes all the difference. Marketing switches gears, gets on social media, tells everyone what's happening.
It's transparency.
Sales, they switch to taking phone orders so you don't lose those sales. And operations, they're figuring out plan B for getting your product out there.
That's awesome. It's like everyone's doing their part to keep things moving.
Exactly. They all adapt to keep the music playing.
That's such a good visual, like an orchestra.
Yes.
Every musician has to be in sync, ready to adjust if the tempo changes or something.
Exactly. And just like in an orchestra, communication is essential. Haptic stresses how important it is to have those communication channels locked in,
Right.
before, during, after any kind of disruption.
Because the last thing you want in a crisis is people running around like, who do I call? Or what do we do?
Exactly. Having those communication protocols in place, those regular drills, maybe even some collaboration tools, that's how you make sure everyone has the information they need when they need it.
It sounds like Haptic is all about being prepared, thinking ahead.
Yeah, but they're also realistic. You can't plan for everything.
Right.
So they say it's about more than just plans and protocols. It's about fostering this mindset, being flexible, adaptable throughout the entire organization.
Okay, so it's like being able to pivot, think on your feet.
Exactly. You've got to be able to come up with creative solutions on the fly. That's essential.
Absolutely.
So it's about empowering everyone, no matter their role, to be problem solvers. Give them the confidence to handle whatever comes up.
I love that. So it's more than just checking things off a list.
It's bigger than that.
It's about weaving resilience into the company culture.
Exactly. It's about creating an environment where people feel safe to speak their minds, share ideas, even raise concerns.
That's huge. But building that kind of culture takes time.
It does. It's ongoing, not a one-time thing.
Right. Where do you even start?
Haptic says one of the best ways is to change how you think about risk. Most people see risk as something to avoid completely.
Yeah, you try to steer clear of it.
Right. But they want companies to embrace it, see it as a natural part of doing business.
That's an interesting take. Most people start a business hoping to, minimize risk. How does embracing it make you more resilient?
It's a great question, and it gets to the core of their philosophy. When you acknowledge risk openly, talk about it, you create an environment where people are going to spot and address those weaknesses before they become huge problems.
So instead of running from risk, you're saying Haptic wants companies to run towards it. Talk about it. Use it to learn.
Yeah, it's about making it okay for people to speak up, to point out potential problems without being afraid to get in trouble.
Because often the people who see problems first are the ones closest to them, right?
Exactly. And that's where Haptic's focus on cross-departmental collaboration comes in again. Breaking down those walls between departments, getting people from different teams talking and learning from each other.
Because something that seems small to one team could actually snowball into a much bigger problem if it's not communicated, right?
Right. Like, let's say the operations team is dealing with a small delay in getting materials.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't seem like a big deal at first. But if they don't tell the sales team and the marketing team...
Yeah, then suddenly you've got customers wondering where their stuff is.
Exactly. And that can really hurt the business. It's like they always say, one small problem can affect the whole system.
It's all connected.
Precisely. That's why Haptic is all about looking at the whole picture when it comes to business continuity, taking everything into account.
So it's not just about having a plan, but about everyone understanding the risks, talking openly, and being ready to adapt.
Exactly. And it's about constantly reviewing and updating your plans because things change fast, right?
Yeah, new tech, new risks, new opportunities all the time.
Exactly. A resilient organization is one that can adjust, learn from its mistakes, and always find ways to improve.
It reminds me of that quote, I think it was Darwin. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change.
E-
Something like that.
Exactly. And that ability to adapt, that resilience, that's what we need to be building in our organizations.
Hmm.
Seeing change as an opportunity, not a threat.
This deep dive into haptics work has been so insightful. Business continuity in the digital age is clearly a lot more than just hoping for the best.
Really is.
It's about fostering a culture of agility, security, and collaboration. It's about facing risk head on, not pretending it doesn't exist. And it's about building businesses that don't just survive, but thrive no matter what comes their way.
Well said. It's about being ready for anything.
Exactly. So as you're navigating this whole digital world, remember that building a resilient organization is a journey. It takes a change in mindset, a commitment to working together, and a willingness to embrace whatever comes next.
And believing that no matter what challenges you face, you can overcome them and come out stronger on the other side.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of business continuity. We hope you found it helpful and that it inspires you to think about how you can build greater resilience in your own organization.